Have you ever wondered why sometimes, when you pull back or seem less available, people become more interested in you? It's a curious phenomenon that taps into the psychology of attraction. In today's video, we're diving into the intriguing idea that when you ignore her, she might actually become more captivated by you. Is this just a game of mind tricks, or is there something deeper happening beneath the surface? Stick around as we explore how playing hard to get can influence attraction, and why creating a little emotional distance might spark curiosity. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with more insights on relationships, psychology, and the mind. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Lesson 1. Emotional distance in attraction. When it comes to human relationships, the idea of emotional distance playing a key role in attraction is often misunderstood. The common phrase, "When you ignore her, she can't ignore you," suggests that by pulling back emotionally or physically, you may spark a greater interest in someone. This concept is rooted in the psychology of scarcity, which states that people tend to value things or individuals more when they perceive them as less accessible. In relationships, this idea plays out when one partner, intentionally or unintentionally, becomes less available or engaged. This shift in attention can trigger curiosity in the other person, making them question why the emotional connection seems to be fading. What happens next is often an increased desire to re-establish the bond, leading to a stronger emotional investment. While this dynamic can occasionally create a temporary sense of intrigue, it's important to note that it should not be relied upon as a long-term strategy for healthy relationships. Authentic connections are founded on trust, communication, and mutual respect, rather than manipulation. Emotional distance can create attraction in the short term, but it is the deeper, more genuine connections that ultimately lead to lasting relationships. Therefore, while creating emotional space may spark curiosity, long-term relationship success comes from consistent effort and honest engagement. Lesson 2. Knowing psychology of playing hard to get. Playing hard to get is a strategy often employed in the early stages of a relationship. The basic idea is that by not being immediately available or overly eager, you can increase your perceived value and make the other person more interested. From a psychological standpoint, this works because the concept of reactance theory. When people feel that their freedom to choose is restricted, they tend to desire the restricted option more. In relationships, this translates to individuals becoming more attracted to someone who isn't always readily available. This behavior, however, is not without risks. If the distance is too great or the person feels neglected, it can lead to frustration rather than attraction. Moreover, this approach often backfires if one partner senses manipulation or games being played. For this strategy to work effectively, it must be used with care. The key is to balance availability and emotional investment, ensuring that the person knows you're interested but not overly dependent on their attention. Genuine attraction stems from mutual respect, and playing hard to get should never involve playing with someone's emotions in a harmful way. While it may create initial intrigue, building trust and connection should always take priority over manipulative tactics. The foundation of any healthy relationship is mutual effort and honesty, not the pursuit of temporary attraction through distance. Lesson 3. The role of curiosity in attraction. Curiosity plays a powerful role in attraction, particularly in the early stages of a relationship. When someone acts distant or aloof, it often sparks a deep sense of curiosity in the other person. Humans are naturally wired to seek answers, and when something is not fully explained or available, our brains become fixated on figuring it out. This is why emotional distance can trigger an increased desire to understand why the person is holding back. It taps into our innate need for discovery and mystery. This sense of curiosity can make a person appear more intriguing and desirable. However, it's important to note that curiosity alone is not a solid foundation for a lasting relationship. While it can create initial attraction, long-term connection is built on genuine understanding, shared values, and emotional support. The problem with relying on curiosity as a primary driver of attraction is that it can eventually lead to disappointment when the mystery is unraveled and there's nothing of substance to sustain the connection. In relationships, curiosity should be balanced with openness and honesty. While a bit of mystery can certainly be alluring, too much can leave the other person feeling confused or emotionally unfulfilled. To build a lasting bond, it's essential to move beyond curiosity and cultivate deeper emotional intimacy through authentic communication and mutual respect. Lesson 4. Why playing hard to get might backfire. While playing hard to get can sometimes create initial attraction, it can easily backfire if it's not done carefully. Emotional distance can lead to feelings of neglect or frustration, which can undermine the relationship rather than enhance it. The idea behind playing hard to get is to make yourself less accessible in the hopes of sparking curiosity and desire. However, if the emotional distance becomes too great or too prolonged, the other person may feel rejected or unimportant. This can lead to insecurity and doubts about the future of the relationship. People need to feel valued and respected in any connection, and constantly withholding affection can make them feel as though they are not a priority. This may cause them to lose interest or seek validation elsewhere. Furthermore, playing hard to get can give off the impression that you're not genuinely invested in the other person, which can damage trust. Authentic relationships are built on mutual care and understanding, not on creating artificial barriers to provoke interest. If one partner is constantly playing games, it can create a toxic dynamic where both individuals are unsure of each other's true feelings. The best way to build a lasting relationship is through open communication, shared experiences, and emotional availability. Emotional distance should never be used as a manipulation tool, but rather as a natural part of building trust and connection over time. Lesson 5. Genuine communication in relationships. Genuine communication is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. While emotional distance and curiosity can trigger initial attraction, true connection is built on open, honest, and effective communication. People want to feel heard, understood, and validated in their relationships. Without this, even the most intense attraction can fade away over time. Communication is not just about talking, it's about listening, empathizing, and responding with care. When both partners engage in meaningful conversations, it fosters a sense of intimacy and trust that strengthens the bond between them. On the other hand, poor communication can create misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and resentment. If someone is intentionally creating distance to provoke curiosity, they risk sabotaging their ability to connect deeply with their partner. Genuine communication requires vulnerability and the willingness to share thoughts, feelings, and concerns openly. It also involves being present and engaged in the conversation, rather than playing games or withholding affection. In any relationship, it's essential to strike a balance between personal space and emotional availability. Ultimately, relationships thrive when both individuals are willing to communicate with authenticity and respect, laying the foundation for a strong, lasting bond built on mutual understanding. Conclusion. While emotional distance and curiosity can create initial attraction, true and lasting relationships are built on genuine communication, trust, and mutual respect. Playing hard to get might spark temporary interest, but it should never replace open, honest dialogue and emotional availability. The foundation of any successful relationship lies in understanding each other's feelings, being present, and building a connection that goes beyond games and manipulation. Ultimately, it is through consistent effort, emotional investment, and authenticity that relationships thrive and stand the test of time. Focus on creating real, meaningful bonds rather than relying on temporary strategies.